So I have a fun fact for you.
A fun
That
fact.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you last time, and I forgot to bring it up. But yeah, I have a fun fact for you.
Okay.
So I was occasionally I will go through my like analytics on on our podcast on the voice side of things, like on the
Okay.
Spotify, and but I go through Anchor, of course. And
Right.
so I want you right now to take a guess as to what the most listened episode is that we've ever had, our top episode ever for listens, audio wise. Just audio, not on YouTube.
I would have thought it would be the episode 100 when we all just got in and just started talking about all the things.
It makes sense, wouldn't it? It would.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not that. What's the episode that you think would be least likely to be our most listened episode? I don't know if you're even going to remember this episode, honestly.
I mean, maybe it's the one where it was just you alone.
It's not. It's not that
No,
one.
it's not
I'm
that
glad
one.
I didn't make that one. That one's
Um,
not even in it. In the top
I don't
five. They
even
only give you the
know.
top five. It
I
is
don't even.
episode 62. A trash fire. Dot dot dot. The podcast. I don't know if you remember this, but this was the podcast in which we recorded an entire episode of the podcast and immediately didn't have it whatsoever. And then it was the only one that we ever did this on. So
And
we
had
went
to
back and
re-record it
re-recorded it
immediately afterwards.
immediately. We did
That's the
another.
first text.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, and it's the most listened to episode of our podcast. Right? I don't know if it's because of the title or what, but yeah, it's the most listened to episode of our podcast, without a doubt.
That's
Without a
weird.
doubt. It's so
That's
weird.
really
It
weird.
makes me feel like we should just do all our podcasts and then immediately do it again. just like, apparently we do it better the second time around.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. I
I would
thought
have
you'd
never
find that
thought.
interesting. I wanted to tell you that last time. I forgot. It just slipped my mind. But yeah, I found that so interesting. That yeah, it's a trash fire. Then episode 116, still alive, still angry, which I believe is the one that we did after I had COVID.
Yeah.
The first one after I had COVID. Then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
episode 38, this again, which I think that's back in Logan land, honestly.
I think so, yeah.
Episode 85, The Wild West, and then episode 58, Mario's 35th. That was the one with Melissa, I
Yeah, I
think.
think, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought you'd find that interesting.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello! My name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. You have decided, for whatever reason, to tune in to a horrible gaming podcast. But I'm not alone. With me, mostly always, is
Mostly always, it's Neil, aka Tiny Wizard, the idiot who wore a green shirt
yeah.
with a green screen.
Yeah, you guys are
So
going to have a lot of
now
invisible Neil today.
my hand, yeah, my hand is currently up and wiggling around, and I don't know what it looks like on your side, but it's I'm
Nothing.
just stupid.
You look like you should be in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I wonder if I turn the light on if it makes it better. Oh, that is very harsh
You are
and
so white.
very horrible. Oh God, even whiter than usual. Yeah, that's not gonna stay. Nerp.
I'm not cutting any of this out. This is all part of the intro,
Yeah,
so that
yes,
happened.
it is. That is.
That happened. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a big show for you today. That's not true. We just have a show. It's just going to be two assholes talking about
Who
games.
knows? Yeah, who
Who
knows how
knows?
long it's
Who
gonna
knows?
be? Who
Sometimes we think it's
knows?
big and it's short. Sometimes it's long and we think it's sometimes whatever. But before we get into it, we of course have to thank the people who helped us get here. Number one, you're watching this on YouTube. You're seeing our faces. We're doing it. You guys liked it, so we're gonna keep doing it. I'm sorry ahead of time.
I'm sorry.
And one thing I like about my old webcam is you don't get the spaghetti stains on my Sunday hoodie.
What?
I got spaghetti stains all down my hoodie, and the camera doesn't pick it up at all.
Resolution.
Oh,
resolution saves your ass.
I look like a fat slob, and I had a weekend to justify the fat slobbery, but I look like a fat slob right now. So anyway, I was thanking people. So number one, the fancy graphics you're seeing behind the timestamps and our ugly mugs was provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And of course, the theme song for this show and all of the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by my brother, the man who makes the music, Nick Van Siders. We thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, and that is Fan-teraction. That's where we, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We respond to all your comments that you leave. We riff on them. We talk to you guys. Communication and transparency is the one thing we can universally offer you guys as a channel. So here we go. We only got 3 comments this week. No problem there, but let's get into it. Number one, our good friend, William Hohen. Hi! Exclamation point. Love it. Man, Will, your comments make my week, man. They do. That high. It just does. Hey, Zach, how was your vacation? Edit. You've told it at the end. Also, it's nice that you added video. Thanks. I don't know why you think so, but we're going to keep doing it. E3 is canceled. Meh. It was just a bunch of CGI trailers and fake promises anyway. Couldn't care less. Thanks for the show. Will, here's the one thing I'm going to say to you. You're not going to not get the CGI trailers and fake promises. The problem is that what we lost with losing E3 is not the CGI trailers and fake promises, because every one of these companies is still going to do shows that do that. It's just we lost the ability to have media people go in there and actually give us an idea as to discern whether they are being honest or not. We lost a catch in the E3, which was the big problem. Nonetheless, thank you for the comment, sir. Thank you for the comment. Before we continue, though, I do want to say something else about the vacation thing. I listened back to the vacation thing, and I was tired and coming off of some craziness, so obviously I want to give just one more huge shout-out, if I may, and that is to Phil Billy. I did mention him, that he drove out to help me put the stuff away, but I gave big ups to my brother, who took Stella, which definitely big ups to my brother for taking Stella. I appreciate that. But Phil Billy woke up in the morning, had to get his 1-year-old kid in the truck in a snowstorm to get to us to help me move my stuff back to the house. And I listening to it back, I was like, I did not thank him properly. Thank you, Phil Billy. I really appreciate it. Again, a big shout out to Phil Billy for that. And then I also want to say the vacation was really fun. I think that the clip kind of made it seem like it was terrible. It was not terrible. The vacation was really fun. I wish my wife wasn't covered in bruises. I wish it didn't start out the way it did. I wish that we didn't have to get a new car, even though we had just kind of paid off that car sort of situation. But the vacation itself was really fun. I don't want you guys to think I was just sitting over here whining about it. It was still a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We went to a lot of fun places. I also bitched about the cold, which it was cold, but it was still a lot of fun, guys. I'm in a little bit better spirits about that right now, and I just want to make it clear. I kind of felt like that after I listened to it back. Like, I felt like I had to put it in because of the content that it was, but like after I listened to it back, I was like, I felt a little whiny and bitchy. So just to say, it was still fun. Still fun. Do you have anything to add to the E3 thing there, Neil, or you want me to move on?
No, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, like I kind of alluded to, I enjoy that shit to its respectable limit, I guess, is the best way I can put it. You know, as long as you go into it knowing that it's, basically commercials and shit like that. I mean, I think it's relatively harmless. It's stupid, but relatively harmless. But yeah, that's all it would have been anyway. So we'll get it one way or another.
That's exactly right. It's just the problem is we don't get that check, and it's just another. And it was a small check that was mostly ineffective, but it was still a check in a industry with almost no checks already. You know what I mean?
Right.
Moving on, we got 2 comments from Mr. Asylum66. He said, "Do wizards still have a yearly meeting? I would like Tiny Wizard to put a good word with Merlin in for me. Don't lie, I just watched you vanish in front of my fucking eyes."
Oh, it's gonna be even worse this week.
So worse. So worse. The green shirt. He then continued and said, "I've lived long enough to see PlayStation lead the charge in pushing boundaries to getting old and yelling at the kids from the back porch about the good old days." Amen to that, man. They're way out of touch. They've gone from being the cutting edge of gaming to just being set in their ways. And I think part of the problem is they were cutting edge in gaming, and they are too full of themselves to ever think that they're not. You know what I mean? And I think that they need to get out of that mindset, or they're going to be in serious trouble, if you ask me. Serious trouble.
Well, they might be in a little bit more trouble here. We'll get into it in the odds and
We will. I'm sure we will get into many things in the odds and ends. I don't know how long this show is going to be. There wasn't a ton of news this week.
No.
Some interesting stuff. I actually got to see Sonic 2, so we're going to do a try and be spoiler free talk about it, because Neil hasn't actually seen it yet, so we're going to discuss Sonic and, video games and movies and stuff, because, let's face it, we don't want to talk about Activision anymore, so... That's really what it is. So
right, yeah.
So you got anything else to add to Fan Traction? That's all we had.
Oh no, not really.
Yeah, it was just the 3.
I feel like we should ask a question. We haven't
You want to ask a question?
in a while.
What question do you want to ask? I got one. If you don't have one, do you have one?
I was gonna say I have one too.
All right, you go. It was your idea.
So I mean, it's kind of random. Like what is an older game that you're playing right now? Because like. This is completely out of left field. I was just perusing on Amazon the other day, and I found this pirated game cart for the Nintendo DS that has, it's like 200 some DS games on it. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, I don't know how well something like this would work. And the reviews were like really good. Curiosity got the better of me, and I bought it. And it's like has actual games on it.
Really?
You load this cart into the 3DS. It has to be illegal. It has to be illegal. There's no way it's not illegal.
Nintendo is already drafting a cease and desist.
Yeah, sure. You put the cart into your 3DS, to your DS, and it reads as a SpongeBob game. First off, which is bizarre. When I first saw that, I thought I was just getting one pulled over on me.
Just hosed.
Yeah, you open it, and there's all the games in there. I'm playing through Mario and Luigi Partners in Time right now on my 3DS.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like legit, and I like the games save. They're not like from weird regions. They all work. So yeah, I kind of have some more older games to play through. I lay down, play for like 15 minutes before I go to bed, something like that. So is there anything that you're playing that's actually kind of older that you just jumped back to randomly for no reason at all?
Good question. Good question, guys. Why don't you tell us in the comments below, or talk about anything else you want. We'll, of course, read your comments out and talk about them on the podcast, because this is what we do. All right, so let's go ahead and take a break and then get into our talking point.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first topic. And Neil, I went this morning. Now, granted, I did go to the movie with a 5-year-old, so I had to leave the movie theater multiple times. But I got to see Sonic 2. I got to see Sonic 2 in theaters, and I almost never get to see movies when they come out. So this was a glorious occasion. So I felt like I kind of wanted to talk about it since it fits our stuff and it's a little bit happier.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and keep this spoiler free, everybody out there. I'm kind of terrible at spoiler free though. Just letting you know. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna ruin the movie for you.
Right.
There are probably things that from listening to me you might come to be prepared for. Does that make sense? Like, the movie won't be spoiled, but
Yeah. No.
you'll have an idea of certain things. So I just
yeah,
want to
and
warn you, if you don't want it spoiled if you want complete flat nothing, I don't listen. Because I'm going to talk
Yeah.
at least a little bit about it, but I'm going to keep the major plot points and stuff. I'm going to try and keep the major plot
I mean,
points out.
trailers and stuff anymore. I mean, I know, I know the.
They didn't do this justice, and they showed a lot, and they didn't do this justice.
Yeah.
So here's how I'm going to start. Okay, when we first talked about the first Sonic movie, we had a podcast after we both watched the first Sonic movie, which was well after it had come out, and I was like, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, but I don't understand how they're going to get more into the Sonic lore and be able to support all these ancillary characters that they put in. Like they kind of made their own thing with that first one, and I was like, how does that translate into everything that we've seen? You know? Like that, does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what we talked about, and that was my biggest concern. Is I was like, this is really good. How does Tom fit in to the the lore? You know,
Right.
they did it beautifully. I loved this movie, and I'm gonna say up front, there are definitely some disconnections from reality you have to immediately take, but I feel like they're standard ones that you should have already taken going to see a movie about a super fast talking hedgehog. So, so just to start, there are some things that you're probably like, wait, that didn't really make sense, but you can kind of let it go because of that disconnect of reality with the subject matter. But I really liked it. They managed to keep all of the characters that they introduced in the first movie, all the human characters, still have relatively prominent roles. Like, they all have a good amount of screen time. Like, I don't know if they have as much screen time as the first movie, but comparable, without a doubt. And the movie suffers pacing in just a couple of moments. There was like one or two scenes where I was like, they put this in because that actor was in the first one and they didn't want him not to be in the second one, but that could have not been here, you know? Yeah. But other than that, like, it worked. It was really good. And what's crazy is the amount of lore and Sonic story that they actually got right in this is mind-boggling. I was prepared for like after the first one, I was like, look, I just got to go in with an open mind, not do the comic book thing and be like, well, Knuckles wouldn't blah 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 blah, you know, not do the actually thing. And I didn't have to. I didn't feel like I had to. I thought they nailed Robotnik. They nailed the Knuckles lore. They nailed the Tails lore. They worked the owl mom thing from the first one. Yeah. They worked that into the storyline as if it could have been there the entire time in the games. And it's so well interwoven the way they did it that I would not be surprised if they didn't like find a way to very easily move them in the games, to be honest. I thought that they and the sheer amount of like one thing about video game movies that they've never really done that Marvel always did really well is they put in these like hints and nods to things. Like little details. Those are the things that they really nail. Like they really nailed the like, oh, I know who that is if I'm a comic guy, or and a lot of video games don't do that. Video game movies don't do that because they're so concerned with the casual viewer, you know.
Right.
This movie nails it. See, I'm already fighting against some spoiler territories, but it does a really good job. And there is some moments in the movie that they managed to keep secret from the trailer dump that surprised me and like actually made me kind of go, oh my god, that's happening. And like I haven't felt like that ever in a video game movie, and not a long time from like any comic book or action movies other than maybe John Wick, you know.
Right.
I really like this. I really like this movie. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. Jim Carrey nails it, 100%. I the guy's so wacky. I never thought he would have been a good Robotnik. When they first announced
Yeah.
him back in the day, I was like, "There's no way he's
Right.
going to do this good." And when they showed the first screenshots from the movie, I was like, "That's not my Robotnik." And like
Yeah.
but it almost makes it better that he was that in the first one, because now like you can see the transition to Dr. Eggman in this one, and you're like, you're so much more connected with that dumbass fucking character than you were even in the video games. They just nailed this movie, Neil. Nailed this movie. I was really impressed.
Yeah, honestly, I think my biggest concern
Go
that
ahead, give
I
it to me,
had,
and I'll see if I can't like assuage concerns or.
well, my biggest concern with casting was Idris Elba as Knuckles.
Oh my god.
I would I would have put somebody like Dwayne Johnson in there. I
Okay.
really think that he would have been able to do that a bit better, because I mean, I'm sure they still do, because Knuckles is supposed to basically be a gullible, stupid shit. And so like Idris Elba as a person doesn't scream that to me. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know how well he actually does with it.
Okay.
And I do think it's great that they had I forget her full name. It's Colleen
Tails.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, who does Tails basically?
They actually had the video game Tails do
The
Tails.
actual voice actor who
Yeah.
does Tails.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, they pulled in some people like that to they walked the line is what it really seemed like,
Yeah.
between the original stuff that's, hey, this is for a movie, but at the same time, like, yeah, they assuage those who, you know, have been with Sonic for years. But like, yeah, my biggest issue, I think, is Idris Elba as Knuckles.
Okay, so well, let me speak to that then. I will say this: I think that if Idris Elba was in a movie, like as Idris Elba, not computer animated, it was him in a
Right.
movie, and he was asked to play the dumb idiot, I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work. It did kind of work in this. I also look. I love The Rock. I love Dwayne Johnson. He's great. I'm kind of sick of seeing him on my movie screen. Like he's
I mean,
just
yeah,
he's
I
just
get
in
it.
fucking everything now. Like I don't need him in all the things and voices of all the things for them to be movies that I want to see. Like I just don't need that. And I honestly don't think he would have worked for this because, okay, trying to do it without spoilers, the Knuckles character that is portrayed in this movie still has that gullibility, but also has the badassness. And I think if you put Dwayne Johnson in the voice, in a voice only role of a silly character, he's gonna ham it up. That's how he does those kind of roles, because he kind of hams up even his normal roles, and that's fine. That's not bad. I'm just saying, what was great about the Idris Elba casting is Knuckles' character feels sincere, which I don't think would have worked with Dwayne. I think with Dwayne it would have felt more like a gimmick. With Idris, you actually believe that Knuckles is like, yeah, Knuckles believes Knuckles. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
that made it work for me. It made it work for me really good. And I was actually concerned about the Idris Elba casting as well. That was something I didn't like, because my favorite character from the original games was Knuckles. I liked the original voice. Like, he was always my favorite stories to play. Like, I love Knuckles.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a red guy, man. That's how Team Red all the way. So like, I was a little bit worried about that. I don't think anybody else could have done it. And not only that, because his voice is so Idris, you know,
Yeah.
when he has to ham it up, it makes it funnier, because it feels more like this badass who is trying to do something normal. Whereas with Rock, he has these kind of more comedy chops, so he would have tried to make it funny. Whereas Idris doesn't try to make it funny. Idris just plays a badass in a silly situation. Like there's a scene in the movie. This doesn't spoil anything. There's a scene in the movie where Knuckles is learning to play baseball for the first time. The scene only works because it's Idris' voice, because he's seriously like, why am I doing this? What is this? Why? You know what I mean? It makes it funnier. If you put Dwayne in that role, Dwayne tries to make it funnier. He tries to be more bombastic with it, and it wouldn't work as well as it does with Idris. I actually think Idris really works in this role, and I was concerned about him. So I don't know if that helps you at all. I think Colleen does great as Tails. I mean, honestly, I could give you spoilery things that would probably convince you a little bit better, but I can't do that. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Colleen does great. Again, I love Jim Carrey in this. Like, Jim Carrey, you can really tell that, like, he's another guy who takes something very stupid seriously, and because he takes it so seriously, it really, like everybody in the movie is taking the movie as like I'm having such a hard time defining this. Like, it's such a silly premise, but everybody's coming at it so seriously. Does that make sense? And it makes it even more like, it makes the characters feel more real. Like, Jim Carrey's Robotnik feels like he is really trying to do something. He's not just a dude making funny hand gestures to make funny hand gestures. Does that make sense? Like, it's the same with Idris Elba. It doesn't feel like, this is just a voice for a stupid character so he could do some stuff. It seems like he really believes what he's trying to do, even though it's a silly movie about a fucking echidna punching a hedgehog, you know? Like, it's, I don't know, really worked for me. Really worked for me. And Neil, some of the things they throw in here, the little details, like, I kind of want to see it again. I can't wait to see it again, because I noticed 3 of them that I'm like, nobody else is going to notice that. Nobody else is going to notice that. And it's just like, can I tell you just one, and it's not going to spoil any of the plots of the movie?
Okay.
One of the places that is a hidden base for Eggman, is a coffee house, and it's called the Mean Bean.
Yeah.
Right?
Excellent.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff is just like, that's the example. I don't have to give you another one, but that's the example. There's so many of those little things in there, and there's a post-credit scene that I never thought they'd do this in a movie, and I saw it, and I was like, I legitimately can't wait for the 3rd one now. And then there is also these other subtle little things that I noticed that I was like, oh my god. Like, this is like, you have to have played all the Sonics to know that right there, you know? And they definitely took that first movie and they were like, okay, now that we've done that first movie and people like it and we got people in the theaters, we are going to cram Sonic down their throats. And they're going to enjoy the shit out of it. That's the other thing that I liked about this movie is very rarely do I watch a movie that's just full fan service and it be good. Like, usually it's just like, this is what the people want to see, so we're just going to do it, and screw the plot, screw anything else around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do want to talk about a couple negatives. One, I already said the pacing is a little off. I kind of give it a little bit of more leeway because of the fact that they're very clearly, like, I love this director. He's trying to get everybody who was in the movie before in the movie again. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to leave anybody to the wayside. Unfortunately, that does create a couple of pacing issues. There's a couple of moments where you're like, did that really need to be there? I don't think it did. The other thing I'll say is that movie has like 7 endings. Like 7 endings. When you're in it and you're watching it and you think to yourself, oh, this is how it ends. It's not. It's not how it ends. It's not. And then, like, another thing will happen and you'll be like, oh man, this is the 3rd act. Okay. And then it's not. It's not at all. Like, it just keeps like, oh, here's the ending. No, it isn't. Here the ending. No, it isn't. Like, it's like the 2nd act and the 3rd act is the whole 3rd act. Like, it's insane. It just keeps going, which is a little bit, there's a term in wrestling called audience fatigue. It comes from, like, when you have too many good matches, like too many big, good, huge matches, no matter how good the match is after that, the fans aren't going to cheer for it because they're tired. They're literally tired of yelling. So like when you have these like matches that are just huge in wrestling, where it's like, oh my god, huge spots, and everybody in the audience is like, holy shit, or awesome, or like whatever. The match after that is never going to get the same reaction, no matter how good it is. It could be better than the other one. It's just the crowd is too tired from yelling from the first one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it happens. It's a legitimate issue in wrestling with booking, especially in some like big pay-per-views, because it's like you get these stacked pay-per-views and like 5 in, you're like, I need a nap. No, I need one. Sonic kind of has that problem towards the end. It kind of has that problem because you're like hooping and hollering right off the bat when like Knuckles and Sonic are fighting in this certain place where you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like basically having a Dragon Ball Z fight with each other in a certain place, and you're like, this is it. This is the end of the movie that I couldn't wait to see. And then it's not the end. And then there's another thing that's even bigger than that you're like, oh my god, this is the epic so-and-so doing the epic such and such. Holy crap, they got this in the movie. This is awesome. This is the ending I wanted to see. And it's not the ending. There's another one that's even bigger. So like by the end I was like, holy shit. Like, so I'll say it, you do have a little bit of that. Just a little bit of that. Just a little bit of that. But yeah, I like it. I will say, don't go into it like wanting a super serious thing or anything. It's definitely more fun. No. It's a popcorn movie, but I really thought they did what they did, and they did it well, honestly.
Yeah, we had originally wanted to go see it this weekend at the drive-in. We were thinking about going last night, and the weather was extra not cooperative.
Yeah.
The previous weekend when we went to go see Morbius, it was already cold enough as it was, and it was like actively snowing again last night. So I was like, yeah, no, maybe the coming weekend possibly, but outside of that,
they have luxury seating in Kent now, which is just these like super big chairs with super big aisles, and it costs a little bit more. It's really nice, but they're also recliners, like they're electric recliners. I love the seating because I can sit with my 5-year-old and it doesn't feel like, you know, she's not kicking anybody's chair. She's like, even when she talks a little bit too loud, nobody's within earshot and it's not bugging them. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't feel like I like that even in a busy thing, because it was busy today. The thing I don't like is the reclining part is on the inside of the arm, so my fat fucking leg just pushes against it. So I'll just be watching the movie, moving. And then I'll just be like, what is happening? Where am I going? Why am I going backwards? I hate that. And it's worse when I'm trying to get up because my fat fucking blobby butt just like the pressure pushes it out when I move forward. So like I move forward to get out and then it starts to recline and I end up falling backwards. It's terrible. But the other thing is there's definitely a bunch of sections I missed because my kid needed water, so I had to go get water, and then there was a line at the concession stand, so I had to miss like 5 minutes waiting to get water. Then my kid started crying at one part because she gets really like upset when anybody gets like trapped in movies. It's weird. Like it's weird. She can deal with death and damage relatively okay, but if like when there's a part where Sonic gets captured, okay, she lost it. She was like, I don't want to watch this anymore, and just started crying. Oh, no. And I was like, let's go out. It was funny, though, because I take her out, I sit her on the bench, and I guess we're getting kind of carried away. I don't want to digress too far, but I sit her on the bench, and she's like, I don't like the movie. I was like, hey, how many movies end with the hero, just getting captured and then roll credits? And she's like, well, and I was like, he's probably going to get out. You realize that? And she's like, you think he will? And I was like, yeah. But to see that, we have to go back in the movie. And she's like, okay. And she starts to get up. I'm like, hey, wait. You can't go back in and cry, though. That's the trick. You have to not cry and wait to see if he gets away. And she's like, okay. Okay. I was like, so we can either stay out here and you cry, or we could go back in and see if he gets away. And she's like, all right, let's go back in. I was like, you can't cry. It'll affect other people's viewing the movie. She's like, okay. And then she was good for the rest of the movie. And of course, she got away. Of course, he got away. But I'm not going to reveal anything else. I really liked it. I did find something else interesting about this movie. Highest grossing video game movie in the opening weekend in all history. And it won the box office. So
Yeah, it did.
Sonic,
yeah.
one of the worst, like some of the worst games ever made, somehow transitions into the best video game movie ever made.
Yeah, I think I had seen an article online. I didn't actually tap on it, but like the headline was Sega should just stop making Sonic games and make Sonic movies.
I want them to make the. I want them to make the games. I want them to make a good one though.
Well,
Fingers crossed for Rangers or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Did you hear? Did you hear what they did for April Fool's Day?
No, I didn't.
They put on April Fool's Day. They put an official post on Twitter. It says, "We can't wait to share with you guys what we're gonna reveal tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, "Oh my god, announcement!" Brr! And like. They just let it sit there. They didn't do anything.
That's cute. That's cute. Yeah, one last bit of news I want to talk about this before we move on. But did you see the thing about Jim Carrey with it, though?
Yeah.
This is funny. This is really funny.
What the fact that he's gonna be done after this?
Okay, but did you see the response from the people who made Sonic, which is the funny part? Okay, so
well, I saw that they have no plans to recast him.
Yeah, but they said another part of it. So like I actually read the story. So Jim Carrey had this interview post Sonic, and he was like, I'm thinking about retiring. I've done enough. I've gotten enough. I've been enough. I don't necessarily need to do it anymore. I'm thinking about retiring from acting. And then in another interview with the creators of Sonic, I think Jeff Fowler and somebody else, Jeff Fowler being the director, they were like, hey, Jim Carrey has said he's thinking about retiring. What do you guys say will you guys recast Robotnik? And they straight up said, no, we'll never recast Robotnik. Jim Carrey's Robotnik. That's just the way it is. But they kind of laughed and they were like, well, what if he retires? And basically their response is, I'm paraphrasing, but basically the response is, he has too much fun with this role. He's not going to quit doing it. Like they're basically calling his bluff. They're like, he just has too much fun doing this. He's not going to walk away from this. Like, maybe he'll retire from everything else, but not this. They didn't say it directly that way. I think it was more like phrased like, we're an open door. He has a lot of fun here. We don't perceive, if you really wanted to walk away, we'd understand, but we don't perceive that he's going to. I think that's hysterical that they're just like, he has way too much fun doing this. He's gonna come back.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's one of the ones who, if he says it, he's probably gonna do it. Because I know. I think it was. I can't remember how long ago it was at this point. He did an interview and he said something along the lines of, complete paraphrasing as well here, but he said something along the lines of like, when you're a comedy guy, like people see you and they're just like, hey, be funny. And it's like, I am not what I do. I do what I do, but I'm not what I do, basically. And I think it kind of grates on him for a while. Cause like he did those like random, like weird, what was it? Number 23, stuff like that. That like wasn't a funny movie.
Yeah.
He like doesn't always want to be on 10 like that. I feel like he goes in waves. So, I mean, I hope that he does keep doing stuff, even if he just sticks around doing Robotnik. Or like they do, I don't know.
I think what they'll do with him is they'll do like, he'll definitely be in the third one. They'll get him back for that one because I think he's also a completionist. Like he's not going to want to leave that unresolved. And then I think after that it's going to be more like a Tony Stark Iron Man. Like he's going to show up every so often. He's going to have like 10 to 20 minutes of screen time, and then that'll be it. Because they're doing a whole universe with this now, which scares me a little bit, not going to lie. They're planning spin-offs and everything else. You're going to have a whole extended universe because Sonic was a success. That being said, I'm a little worried about that. I don't know how many people are going to go see the Knuckles movie. You know what I mean? Like, or the Amy Rose movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if this was a great idea, but to do that, you need kind of like a central personality, kind of like a Robert Downey Jr. that kind of like keeps showing up to tie things together. I think Jim Carrey is going to be that for this. I think he'll do the third one, especially if they're going to do the content that I think they're going to do. Well, at least the content that's based off the content based off the post-credit scene. You absolutely need Jim Carrey there. Absolutely need him, and you'll understand why when you see it. But if that's the lead into the third one, you absolutely need Dr. Robotnik in that movie. So I think they will give him the sun and the moon to get him back for the third one. If he does retire indefinitely, then they'll probably be like, hey, can you just do cameos here and there? And he'll be like, yeah, no problem. You know?
I mean, they actually kind of have something to get into the nerd lore. They actually kind of have an easy out for him because it's established in Sonic Adventure 2 that, like, there's Dr. Robotnik and then there's Dr. Eggman are two separate people. You know, Robotnik is Eggman's grandfather. So, like, they could do some shit like that to, like, bring him back for one more movie, but, like, also open the door to be like, hey, you know, we know you want out. We don't want to keep you here if you don't want to be here, but, like, we also, you know, I think that, like you said, he might not want to just leave it hanging there. I think he'd want to at least finish up what's been started. Mm-hmm. And then from there, just be like, okay, well, we can pass the torch off to somebody else, and it's not going to feel like it's forced or anything like that.
Right. I think that's one of the downsides of, you know, making movies out of these platformers is they always have the same bad guy, always.
Yeah.
So you don't have, like, that superhero, like, well, we could just do Green Goblin this time, you know, like, you can't really do that. You don't have a rogues gallery. You have one guy who's just the dude who keeps coming back. So, like,
right.
I think that if Robotnik ever does retire permanently, like Jim Carrey retires permanently, and they move Robotnik out of it, they are going to have a hard time replacing that persona. Like, even if it's a different character, like you're saying, and it's a passing of the torch or whatever, it is going to be very hard for them to be like, this is the bad guy now, and people to respond as much to it as they did with Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just is. That's. Is there anything else you want to ask me about the movie? Anything else you want to talk about on the movie?
No, I mean, I'm trying to be as clean as I can going into it.
There are so many things, because I know you and I. It's one thing universally you and I have in common as far as gaming goes is we are both Sonic fans.
Yeah,
and I think it's crazy. It's like one unifying thing, because on the surface, most of our gaming loves are very, very different, which is one of the reasons we work so well as a podcast. But Sonic. Yeah. Is like a unifying factor for both of us. We both want a good Sonic game. Sometimes we disagree, I think, on what are good Sonic games, but like we both want a good Sonic game. We both love Sonic, and so we're both up on the lore. You're going to be the only guy I'm going to be able to, like, really have an inside conversation with after you see this movie, and, like, I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait to, like, discuss it.
I'm hoping, I don't know what the weather's going to be, but I'm really hoping maybe this Saturday we'll be able to go to the drive-in.
It's going to be 53. This year, nature hates the weekends, man. It's going to be nice all week, and then shitty the weekend again.
That's kind of how it's been.
Yeah. All right.
I'll see it eventually.
Well, let's head into odds and ends then.
All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our third segment, odds and ends, our final segment. This is where we like to collect smaller news stories that don't necessarily deserve a full talking point. We just like to riff on them, talk on them, tell you guys about them, just let you know about them. Too important not to talk about, not important enough to talk a ton about, or we just don't want to.
Yeah, a little
so-
bit of that on this one.
Neil's got three,
Three.
and I've got two. We're probably going to do a lot of talking about it since we're a little bit ahead on this episode. So why don't you take us away, Neil, with your first one?
All right, I'm just gonna jump straight into the bullshit. In continuing Activision sucks news, Activision is moving its QA testers to full-time staff, giving them raises and benefits. So why does this suck? Well, this sucks because the QA testers that have moved to unionize at Raven are not going to be included in any of this.
Yeah.
Because of course not.
I told you, man. I hate
Like,
being right. I hate being cynical, and I hate being right. But the union isn't going to happen. It's not going to go anywhere because everybody who wasn't in this, I'll tell you right now, they're going to get an offer to be like, hey, get out of that union and come be in this.
yeah.
And then that union's going to fold because all these people want to do is work and get paid for it.
Right.
And, like, I mean, that's why they're in the position that they're in. And, like, at the end of the day, like, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who's like, stand your ground and hold the
Right.
signs hot. It's real hard to
can
stand your
say
ground.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that all day,
I'm
your actual livelihood is on the line. And that's the shittiest part of it because at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself.
and your family.
Your family.
It's
Like,
people have families. Like, I'm
that's-
40 years old with a kid. I'm going to tell you right now, pay over not pay is going to sway me. I'm not going to sacrifice food out of my kid's mouth or my wife's mouth for a union. I'm not. That's not how I should have to do it, and nobody should blame them for it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
again, the minute Microsoft bought them, the legs got cut out from under this, and this is how they're going to resolve this. They're going to try and do right by people that aren't in the union so that they don't have to do as right for all people in general. And
Yeah.
it sucks. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck, but this is the way it is, and this is capitalism. Capitalism is not a team sport. It just isn't. It's about the individual, and it's about surviving. And those people got to survive. You know what I mean? Like, they can't fight the power without money. They can't fight the power without food. They can't fight the power when their family's starting. They just can't. So they're going to take those jobs, and that union's going to go bye-bye. And I hate to be the cynical old man here, but that's just the way it's going to be, and that is a real fucking bummer. And again, if you really want to blame anybody for this, you got to blame Phil Spencer and Xbox, because those are the people who took the steam out of all of this movement by buying Activision.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so it's never evolving situation still, and kind of what we alluded to is like I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time.
I don't want to talk about this.
Because I mean that's the thing is like there's unless something absolutely 100% colossal happens, like the deal something happens and it falls through, or Bobby Kotick is getting kicked out early. Something like that where I want to avoid this stuff as much as possible because it's the same thing all the time. It's bad news. It's bad all the time.
It's
And
not
I'm tired
fun.
of it.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
fun.
It's
Not
not fun to
fun.
cover. It's not. I tell you, man, when I started, not to get depressing, when I started a gaming podcast and a gaming channel, some 2.5 years now, ago, I really was like excited. This is gonna be really fun. I get to talk about something I love, and like, you just end up in that slime real fast, and it really beats you down. And like, that's why sometimes we gotta talk about more fun stuff because we're human too. And like, it's like getting mentally punched in the face every time we have to talk about the terrible shit that happens to other people in the building of something that is a beautiful art form. Like I find video games is
Right.
it's one of the greatest forms of art out there. And I know there's not a lot of people that agree with me. I know there's a lot of people that just think it's stupid. I think video games tells a story in a way that no other medium can because it allows you to influence it. Don't fucking yawn on air,
I'm
goddammit.
sorry.
I'm in the middle of a speech, a heartwarming
I'm gonna
speech
actively
from
just
the
go
soul.
like this. I
Fucking,
just
you bet you should.
disappear.
You should
I'm
just
gonna
vanish.
disappear.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And like boom.
Well, he ruined
Just
it.
like
Everybody.
that.
I was gonna get real for a second, but
I'm
Neil
not
had to
even
go and
focused
fucking yawn, man. Fucking yawn. I'm doing the D'Lo Brown head swivel now. Ridiculous. Nobody's gonna get that reference. Okay, no, because not only do you have to be a wrestling fan, you have to be old. So nobody's gonna get that one. Okay. All right. Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you only have two, I mean, I started. We'll go every other.
I mean, you killed my speech, and honestly, I didn't want to give
I'm
it
sorry.
anyway. So let's just move on. All right. So my first one, I'm gonna tie it into our talking point. So Jeff Fowler was interviewed, which we talked about back in the talking point about the old Jim Carrey stuff. But he was also just interviewed about movies in general. They asked him if he would want to make a Smash Brothers movie. He said he absolutely
Yeah. I
would
heard-
love to make a Smash Brothers movie. He would love to have Sonic and Mario front and center doing battle. He would love to have all the characters in. Let's do it. Let's give Jeff Fowler all the money and all the video game movies. Like, seriously, let's just do it. Let's give him the universe. Let him be the Kevin Feige of video game of cute video game platform universe. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, after seeing what I saw, I want to see Kirby throw down with Sonic real fucking bad. Like, with all my soul, I want to see that cute little puffball do a DBZ fight with fucking Sonic the Hedgehog tomorrow on the theater, man. So let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's give it to Jeff Fowler, man.
So I almost wonder if it could happen at some
Yeah.
point. And the only reason I'm really thinking it's possible is because Nintendo is starting to get back into that whole realm of maybe possibly doing movies. I mean, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie.
It's going to be
That's
fully
gonna be
animated,
coming
though, and it's
It's
from
gonna be fully-
Illumination, so it's going to be its own thing. You can't really cross it over, unfortunately.
But here's the thing. It's like that is going to be the fact that Sonic is doing. The fact that Mario is, I'm assuming, going to do well after the last time they tried to do a Mario movie, I think is going to do well. I think
I don't know,
could-
man.
I mean,
I don't know. I keep forgetting you can't see my face and how much scrunching I'm doing. I'm real worried about that Mario movie. They got big shoes to fill.
wait, hold on. Did you like the original Mario movie?
No, but like,
okay.
I'm talking about against Sonic. Like, big shoes. Like, they gotta beat Sonic now. They're not gonna beat Sonic, especially since everybody already is upset that Chris Pratt's the voice of Mario, which I'm not necessarily upset with. I actually like Chris Pratt. I think he's a great actor. I don't mind him at all.
I don't know.
I don't like that he's. I want to see what he does with Mario before I pass judgment.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be my first cast for a large Italian plumber. That wouldn't be the first guy that I'd go grab. Like, the first guy I would grab is the late great Bob Hoskins, but that didn't work out. So maybe I'm off my rocker anyway. But like, I'm not ready to damn Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt. I think he's a good actor. I love Guardians. I like most of the things he's in, other than Jurassic Park. That being said,
you don't like him in Jurassic Park?
No, I don't like those movies. I don't like those movies.
Why?
Period. They're fucking dumb. I'm not having this argument on a gaming podcast with you about those stupid fucking movies.
I just need to just give me the Cliff's Notes. Why don't you like the Jurassic World movies?
I'm not giving you I'm not doing this on a gaming I patently refuse to defend my I'm not doing it. Start a movie podcast. Ask me on. I'll come on and fight with you about Jurassic World. Until then, no, I'm not doing it. That being said, I think there's been a lot of criticism of that movie. We haven't even seen a trailer, and there's already a ton of criticism on it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily hate the cast, but the world kind of hates the cast. So like I don't know, like and now you've got Sonic 2, which just blew the fucking video game thing out of the water. I don't know if Mario is going to be the follow-up here that you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking of it like, given the fact it's Illumination, you're gonna slap
Illumination
a minion
is
on
good.
it, and it's gonna make $1 bajillion.
I mean, I like they make good movies. I'm sorry, I know that they do too much with the minions, but they make good movies. I like the Illumination movies.
I honestly
Secret Life of Pets is great. Secret Life of Pets is great. I love Secret Life of Pets. There was another one that I really liked. I like all the Despicable Me's. I think they're great movies. I didn't like Minions.
I've not seen Despicable Me.
The first one is amazing. The second one's pretty good, and the third one's great. I like the third one too. Minions, not so great. Minions was a little silly and dumb, and I didn't really like that one. But the original 3 Despicable Me's are all great movies. They're all really funny. The Grinch was okay. I didn't really care for the Grinch that much.
Yeah,
I didn't really like it that much.
I kind of like that Grinch. I like that Grinch.
It's not my Grinch. They could have.
It's not. No,
I needed more Grinch and less Happy. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a Grinch myself, but I really like Secret Life of Pets. Oh, Sing! I love the Sing movies. Sing 1 and Sing 2 are great.
I've not seen Sing.
You haven't seen Sing?
Great things. I've heard
Sing's
great
awesome.
things about Sing.
Sing's awesome, man. Sing's awesome. My kid loves Sing, and then we went to see Sing 2 in theaters. That was the first time she had a successful movie from start to finish. Never left the theater. She loved it. Like, I love it. It's great movies. So Illumination could be good. It could be good. I like the Illumination movies. It's just they got big shoes, man. Big shoes to fill. Like, they're set up to fail right now, which it's not great for them. They got to knock it out of the park, I guess.
Yeah, but basically what I was just getting to is I think if they do okay on it, and if Nintendo kind of starts to loosen up with the idea of like movies and stuff, I mean, they did. I mean, I guess the Castlevania is mostly a Konami thing, but still, they've been kind of worming their way out, and I think that they could be open to doing something like that at some point. Okay,
all right. So it's your turn.
All right. Interesting announcement that happened this morning. This morning being April 10th. That we're recording this. Square has announced 3 brand new Kingdom Hearts games for the 20th anniversary of the series. Well, one of them's not a brand new game. One of them is just the finale of the finale of the mini series game, mobile game, whatever that they had. That's been going on for many years now, and apparently it's just not dead, even though it's like 1,000 episodes in or something like that. And then they also announced some other mobile game. I forget what they even called it, to be completely honest. I don't know how that'll even play on a phone, but the big one, the one that I actively rolled my eyes at, even though I am a fan, is they have officially announced Kingdom Hearts 4.
Don't you dare.
In development.
Don't you dare. Neil, I'm tracking it. I'm tracking it right now in my head. Don't you dare buy this game, Neil. Don't you dare buy this game. As a friend.
Gonna buy it.
No, as a friend, I'm cutting you off. We're going to have an intervention for you.
Masochist,
I'm going to get your friends and family together. We're going to surprise you when you come home from work. We're going to be like, we need to talk about your intent to buy the 4th fucking Kingdom Hearts game. Don't you do it.
Kingdom Hearts game that's actually like the 15th?
Yeah, don't you do it. Don't you do it, Neil. And I have had conversations with you about the third one and your
Yes.
feelings on the third one. You better not
Yes.
get the fourth. I like, how many times do you want to get kicked in the balls,
So,
man?
well, here's the only thing. The only thing. Well, first off, they showed
I'm shaking my
gameplay.
head so hard. Like, the audience can see it. You can't. I'm shaking my head
No, I
so
can't.
fucking hard.
They did show gameplay for it already, even though there was no date or anything associated with it, just saying that it's in development. It looks like it's being made in Unreal 5, which looks really nice. We'll see how it ends up. But this is, from the trailer, a whole brand new saga. So my wish, I don't know if it's going to end up like this. It probably. My wish is that they, take the main bedrock of the lore that's been established, wash everything else away, and say, hey, we're going to start this new story arc, and we're going to keep it relatively grounded. To just not make characters that are
Relatively grounded.
I'm not even asking for, like,
This is a
wild,
game
man. It got
of
wild,
Final
man.
Fantasy characters, Final Fantasy Reject characters crossing over with Disney characters, and your big words of wisdom is keep it grounded.
So, from what it looks like, I don't even know how much Disney is going to be involved with this. I mean, they've already shown, like, Donald and Goofy and alluded to the fact that Hades is going to be there, but it's like real ass Tokyo in, like, human real world. That's
so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm not Mr. Hype. I'm like falling over myself like I was with Kingdom Hearts 3 when it got announced.
You need a fucking hug, man. I'll hug you. I will hug you long and hard. Don't buy this fucking game, man.
I am going to sit and wait and see what happens. As I am currently standing. Like with Kingdom Hearts 3, when Kingdom Hearts 3 first got announced, I was like, I'm pre-ordering it day one. I don't give a shit when it comes out. Fucking whatever. Like, I'm going to take a step back and at least see what happens before I
You
jump
need to take
back
like
into it.
7 or 8 steps back. Like, I'm just going to keep saying my only contribution here is just don't buy this game. Please. Yeah, you're my friend and you deserve better than this.
Yeah, it's that. This is what they did for the 20th anniversary series. 20 years old.
Did you tell Kayla you're planning on buying this game?
I had mentioned to her kind of something along the same lines, because, like, we were at McDonald's getting breakfast when I saw the trailer existed, and my knee-jerk response before I even watched anything for it, and I saw it, and I'm just sitting there shaking my head, and I said, oh no, oh honey, no, we're not doing this. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, they just announced Kingdom Hearts 4. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I might get it. I'm thinking about getting it, but it's definitely going to be one of those things.
Firmly saying don't. If you want to get kicked in the balls, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. If that's what you want out of your life, just once out of every 10 years, I'll come over and kick you in the balls. That'll be the same as Kingdom Hearts. Getting a Kingdom Hearts game. All right. So my last one, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is a big one. Kind of comes off the heels of that, because this is an obsession of mine. They announced, working with Remedy, building it in Remedy's engine, that they are going to be putting together a Max Payne remake collection. The first game, second game, I believe, are all that were announced. Max Payne 1 and 2.
I believe,
they're not putting
yes.
3 with it, because 3 wasn't Remedy. 3 was just through Rockstar, right? They had a different company do it.
To my knowledge, I never played the games.
I played 3.
little bit about them, but
I'm
yeah,
a
I
Max
think
Payne
that
boy.
was the situation. Oh, I know. That's why
Yeah.
I didn't even bother writing this on odds and ends. And I was telling you between segments, I saw it. I was gonna send it to you, but it would have been a waste of my time. Me
I'll
not sending it to you was me acknowledging that you are.
I'll paint you guys a picture. A very thinner, much more bitchy version of me, much younger, less gray hair, renting a room out of another person's house because it's how I lived for most of my life, with a TV on the floor, PlayStation on the floor next to it, sitting crisscross applesauce, as they say nowadays, beating Max Payne 2 for the 12th time and saying to myself, I love this fucking game. I love this fucking game. Those games are. I love those games. When I was a kid, I loved the Hong Kong action movies. I loved the John Woo shooties. And then that game had the bullet time and had everything. But it also had the like detective stuff, which anybody who's been listening to me for a long time knows I love hard-boiled detective stories and stuff. So it was just like, basically if somebody was like, hey, Zach, we want to open up your head. Let's pull a bunch of shit out when you were younger and then make a video game out of it. That's Max Payne would have been that game, Max Payne 1 and 2. So I'm very excited for this. I have some comments, though, some negative comments. Well, actually a warning. Rockstar has recently done a couple of remakes. Just want to point that out.
Oh, yeah.
And I am now 40. I am not that kid in crisscross applesauce, renting a room, playing on a box TV that's like this big. I'm not that kid anymore. I'm not going to just get excited. I'm going to look at your track record, and your track record is fucking awful with remakes. San Andreas and GTA 3 Remake were fucking abysmal, and they've done nothing to fix it whatsoever. They've taken their money, they've run with it, and they have no interest in fixing it whatsoever. Rockstar, aside from that, has also completely and totally buried and butt-fucked one of my favorite games, which is Red Dead Online. They've done nothing with it. They've buried it. They've ignored their fan base. They're not a good company who doesn't do great things. On either side of the fence, do they make good games? I'm not saying they don't make good games. They do make good games. I'm not saying they don't. That being said, they don't make great remakes, and they don't listen to their fans. So, one thing I'm happy about is Remedy is the one doing the Max Payne part of this. Like, they're the ones collecting it, they're making it in their engine, so they're kind of contracting out with Rockstar to do this. That's great. I want Sam Lake back in charge of this as fast as humanly possible. That man is the guy behind Max Payne. He's the only guy who can make this right. That being said, the last game that Remedy released was Crossfire X. They did the story for that game, and it's fucking trash. So, they need a win. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Remedy, look at me. Look at me. I'm looking directly into the camera right now. I'm not even looking at my face, which is what I've been doing while we do this. I'm looking into the camera. Remedy and Rockstar, don't you fuck this up, man. I'm old. My wife can live without me. I got nothing to lose. I will come for you people. I will come for you people. Do not fuck up Max Payne 1 and 2. Don't do it. Please don't do it. All right? That being said, I'm very excited about the prospect of this. I would love those games collected in the newer generation. I would also love to see them even brought into this generation. Maybe add some features would be really nice. Like, the one problem with Max Payne 1 and 2 is there's not a lot to do other than play the game once, you know? And that's great. Like, I played it on all the difficulties both times, and then Max Payne 2 had a horde mode, which I had a lot of fun with, basically, where it would just shove guys at you, and you would just keep shooting them. Max Payne 3 was not my favorite. It was all right. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but it wasn't done by Remedy, and it wasn't written by Sam Lake, so it wasn't my favorite. That being said, that had multiplayer, which was trash. Still, I would love to see some more features, some better features added to 1 and 2, other than just the bare bones games. I'd love some more replayability or something added to them. What do you think about this, man?
I think it is cool. I mean, like I said, I never play the games, so I mean, when they would come out, I mean, that would be my first time going through them. The first Remedy game I ever really played was Control, anyways. But
Control's good.
kind of like, yeah, it was from what I played. I didn't end up finishing it, but from what I played,
I
it
did.
was good.
I did. I liked it. I really liked it.
The like you had said, the fact that Rockstar is involved
Right. Right.
is the part that gives me pause
Yep.
because they didn't treat their Grand Theft Auto collection very well at all.
That's the last remake
So
released from Rockstar, and the last game that Remedy released that had anything to do with was the the single player campaign of Crossfire X. And I don't know if you looked up the reviews for that. It is threes across the board.
I honestly, I remember them announcing that game like 6 years ago or something. And every single time I hear about it, I feel like it gets pushed more and more. I didn't even know it physically released.
It did.
I thought it was it was like a Skull and Bones situation, just
No, it
endlessly
released.
in development.
It released and it was terrible. The multiplayer was awful. The
Jeez.
modes didn't make sense. And the multiplayer was done by the Korean company, the parent company. But they had contracted Remedy to do all of the story and all of the solo game. And it was awful. It was absolutely awful. So that's the last thing Remedy did. And the last thing Rockstar did was their collection. So, like, that makes me nervous. I can't help but be nervous about that. I'm too cynical and too deep into the gaming industry now not to just be a little bit like, I don't want those games touched if they're going to be ruined. You know, I'll go back and play them with their boxy, weird looking heads. I'm okay with that. Just don't ruin these fucking games, you know?
Yeah.
That's it for me on that one.
I was just about to say I'm just going to go into my my last one. It's one I kind of alluded to earlier. So Sony might be doing a sketch thing in preparation for their new online services. They're actually doing a couple things. The first thing, people found a loophole to get the top tier of the new PlayStation Online for an extreme discount. So they were buying year subscriptions of PlayStation Now ahead of time. PlayStation Now for a whole year subscription was $60. And at whenever they turn on their new service, all of the PlayStation Now subscription would automatically get converted to their top tier plan, which would go for $120 a year. So everybody was
six
basically
months.
everybody was basically getting 50% off and buying PlayStation Now on mass to be able to get ahead of it. Of course, Sony found out.
Oh, I
shut
see.
it off.
Okay.
Because they were going to lose their ass on it. But there's something else that's been happening recently, and it seems to be tied to that. Digital purchases of classic PS1 games are randomly expiring on PS3 and Vita consoles.
There it is. There it is.
It's the license expiration seems to be showing up as 1969 as the year that it had expired. So people are logging into their consoles to play these games for these digital purchases that they have, and they're not able to anymore. And it may
I
seem
can tell
like
you
a
why,
glitch.
but
It may seem like a glitch, but it's a lot of things like Chrono Cross and shit that you can basically guarantee is gonna be on that new service. So
which they've
probably
locked behind the highest
they've locked
tier.
behind the highest tier. So probably what you are thinking and what I am about to say is they are going through and basically having all of the purchases for, digital games expiring. Now, there is one other thing. There is one other component to this. They are looking at shutting down the PS3 and PS Vita stores. They were going to do that last year, and then there was a lot of outcry in regard to that, which may also be the impetus for them looking at these new services. But I mean, this is something that's going to happen eventually anyways, but I think they're using that line of rationale to speed that up a little bit to force people into, hey, you want the things that you had before? Buy our top tier for $18 a month and you get it. They did the same sort of thing over at Rockstar with the GTA collections. They delisted all of the individual games from all of the digital storefronts, so you couldn't buy those individual games anymore. And then put this out, say, hey, if you want these things, you got to buy this game right here. So, I mean, this is the new thing that's been creeping into gaming over the past year or so.
Well, let me ask you something before you keep going, because I actually kind of feel like this is a little bit worse, and that is, you said the digital purchases were expiring.
The digital purchases were expiring.
So people who own this game cannot play it anymore.
And that's the rub, is because of how basically, if anyone is unaware of things work, is when you buy something digitally, you're not actually buying a copy of the game. You're only buying the permission, the rights to play the game. It is a license for the software, so they are allowing you to do it, but there are the terms and conditions.
They're allowing you to download it and play it. Yes.
Exactly. Yep. That is one of the main reasons that I like to stick to physical copies of games, but I mean, there's ways around that too. You have everything based off of a server, and then the game's not playable anyways. But that is what is happening in this situation, is the licenses for these games are expiring, so that people can't access the games they've purchased.
That's why it's more egregious. Look, this is worse than the shit Nintendo's pulling. Like, because Nintendo, when Nintendo delists it in their stores or they shut down an arcade, if you've got it on your system, you still got it on your system. They're not taking the game away or making it impossible for you to play. This would actually nix your license. So if you booted up your PlayStation 3 to play this game you purchased, you would not be able to play it. That is the kind of shit that's real fucked up about this. Like, this is really fucked up in a whole new level. Like, we have been talking quite a bit about people shutting down old digital storefronts, making these games not accessible or not purchasable because they're making remakes, because they're making collections. And that's shitty. I'm not saying it's not. But this is worse, because they're literally taking the games you paid for away so that you have to pay more money for them. And that is just... That's egregious. That's absolutely egregious. And they're locking it behind their highest tier. Their highest tier. They're basically holding your digital library hostage. The digital library you already paid money for, they're taking it away so that you have to pay a subscription fee for it. God, they should be locked up for this. Like, they should just be locked up for it. And that is the downside of buying digital. I don't disagree with that at all. When you buy digital, you are buying the license to play the game. Now, there are ways around it if you have the data. The problem is usually when you download a game to whatever you're downloading it to. So you download it to a PlayStation, you download it to a PC, whatever. There is software in that game just built in that it has to communicate with something that allows it to play. Most games are like that nowadays, especially if you buy them off a digital storefront. So what they do is they just switch the software so that when that game goes to communicate with XYZ to say, hey, these guys can play this because they paid for it, right? It says no. And that's bullshit. Like, you have the data on your hard drive and they're not letting you play it. They're literally locking your system up that you bought from you playing it. Like, this is next level bullshit, like, as far as I'm concerned. Like, this is the most rage-inducing thing we have talked about in a while for me. I can't believe PlayStation is doing this. So not only are they antiquated now, not only are they antiquated in their thinking, but they're literally just like, fuck them. fuck them, we'll take their shit away. Like, that's how we'll get them on our service, is we'll take away their games and make them pay for it again. I think people should be pissed about this. I think diehard PlayStation people should be pissed about this. Like, if this is really their strategy, if this is really where they're going and not just some weird bug, I mean, they need to walk this back like yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen, because if that were to happen, that would basically be them admitting, "Hey, yeah, we actually did do this thing, and this is actually the choice that we made. But yeah, no, we want to double back on that."
They could very easily get away by saying, "Hey, sorry, there was a weird bug in the system that was making old systems." They could very easily say there was like a bug in the system. It was locking stuff out. We've corrected it. It's fine now. They could very easily just lie their way out of this.
Yeah.
Like the diehard PlayStation people are going to be like, "Yeah, sure, okay, it was a bug. No problem. We got our games back. We're happy." But they need to do some shit like that, like, now. Because if this is really their strategy, which is what it sounds like it is, then this is bullshit. This is criminal. This is a level of criminal that we have not seen in the gaming industry. I mean, to speak of. Like, now we're not even not giving refunds. Now we're just locking your games up so that you can pay again. Like, that's insane. That's absolutely insane to me. And as much as I love PC, it does make me nervous for digital. And unfortunately, like, your strategy of buying physical games isn't going to work for much longer. Like, it just isn't. Like, you're going to have to buy digital. And
eventually it's going to be there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so even that way isn't really going to work that much anyway. These companies are really putting themselves in a position to hold the consumers hostage for money whenever they feel like it, whenever they want. There's no checks, there's no regulations, there's no balance here. And this right here is really like, this is some criminal shit. If I was testifying in front of a fucking Congress thing, this is what I would point to. Like, you want criminality in gaming, right behind Activision raping people, it would be this right here. Like, this is the kind of shit that we need somebody to step in and say, you can't do this to people. Mm-hmm. This is criminal. They're stealing your stuff. They're stealing it.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about that one.
I'm
literally sweating. I'm so mad. It's like fucking 20 degrees outside. I'm in a basement. I'm sweating. I'm so upset about that.
Yeah, so it's super fun times.
Was that your last one?
Yeah, it was my last one.
All right, let's get to plugs.
Sure.
Go to sleepy sleep.
Oh, that's what I like. That's what I like to hear.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Plugs. Okay, I'm sorry. That was all fucked up. I hit the wrong button on the fucking timer and it reset it, but it doesn't really matter. We're at the plugs.
I was about to say, we're at the end.
So yeah, so people coming back are gonna be like, see us being weird. So here we go, guys. This is the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, you got anything to plug? I know you do.
There's quite a few things, actually.
Yeah.
So we may have said something along the lines of final episode of Halo Infinite.
It's been a weekend for me, man.
Sorry,
everybody.
It was almost the final episode of Halo Infinite, but things happened. So we got to the very end, the very last mission, and we had to cut it short, unfortunately. So we are going to, at some point here, we're trying
Wednesday, 9:30.
You probably are going to be this evening, this Wednesday evening, rather.
Yeah, it would be this evening if they're watching.
Well, this evening if you're watching it, yeah, I guess that's technically true. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna finish that out. The last mission, probably do something else with it too. And that actually kind of leads me into the next part of this, because if you watch that last stream, You may have noticed that I had mentioned something along the lines that I was streaming as well. I actually have my whole setup finally together and done.
There was much
And
mocking on Neil. He did not even have his own chat open during the
okay,
stream.
look.
Okay, look what? It is
I
2022.
understand.
You
I
are a gaming media
understand.
guy. You
I
need to know how streaming
understand.
works, even if you've
I
never
knew
done it
how
or
it
watched
worked.
it.
You also have to realize if you go if you go and look on my Twitch where I streamed it, I have it set so the last few streams show up. The very first stream that I did was like 45 seconds of me staring at a black screen and talking to myself,
It's hilarious.
wondering if I had it set up.
Clip that
And
shit.
that is when I realized that I had it set up. What is very interesting about that is I look back at the views on that, and somebody or people have watched that a couple times, probably wondering what in the absolute
the fuck
shit
is happening?
is
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, so when I did start that stream, I started that stream after just randomly checking to see if I even had it right and having zero plan at all.
You should just set up an entire Twitch stream, a Twitch channel where just once every like 4 days you do a 45-second stream of you just going testing, check, checking, test, and then cut it out. People will make so many crazy theories about it. You'll have 1 million viewers. What's he going to say next time? Is he going to say check twice or testing 3 times? He's a fucking spy. Yeah.
So basically where I'm at now with this is I now have the ability to do my own little streamy things. And there's a couple, it's not going to be anything. I'm not doing it for like trying to be a partner or anything that I just want to do it just because
it's fun, man. Just chat with people while you game. It's nice.
So
I like it.
My current plan at least is I'm going to be looking at probably Street Fighter 4 is going to be my first one. Whenever I do it, I don't even know when I'm not going to be relegating myself to any sort of schedule, anything like that. I'm just randomly going to pop on. I don't even think it's going to be for an extended period of time. May only be for like a half hour at any given time.
Well, I'll try and check it out, man.
Yeah.
I'll try and check it out.
I mean, if anyone is interested in it, it's twitch.tv/OMG a tiny wizard. It's all one word, all crammed together, no spaces, all lowercase. So like I said, I'm not going to have any schedule. Try to be hyper serious with it or anything. I'm not going to have any like long running series. I'll just randomly jump into something whenever I feel like it.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to see whatever that's about, just take a look. I'm not even going to tell you to subscribe because I don't even know what it is I'm going to be doing. It may be, like you said, just more of me screwing around. I may forget that I'm streaming. I may forget to stop my stream, and you'll just see my basement
Snoop
floor.
Dogg it. Snoop Dogg it. That's great, man. That's cool, and it is fun to just stream, man. I like it. I like it sometimes better than playing. Just like to just have people chat while you're playing. It's more interesting.
Yeah. There was one other thing that I forgot to mention too.
Sure, go ahead.
We've kind of...
You cut out. Re-say what you just said. Yeah, you cut out.
You've
been having you had a couple of cutouts during the show, but they were real small and minor. That's why I didn't say anything. But that time you did.
I think it's probably because the noise cancellation is just ridiculous sometimes on this. I want to turn off all the noise cancellation, honestly, on Discord. But anyways, you and I have talked a little bit about this. It was just one other thing I wanted to just briefly mention that Zach and I have talked about what is going to happen after Halo Infinite Road.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of have at least one idea rolling around. I think it's going to be more so of like just a grab baggy situation until maybe something grabs us. But yeah, we are kind of rolling with something with that, and whenever
It's
we
gonna
have more
be
information, yeah.
it's gonna be streams. I do want to say
Yeah, it's
that
gonna be
because you guys like
streams.
streams.
Yeah,
We,
we're not gonna do a long form let's play that takes literally over a year to do.
for the most part, you get the only let's play we still have on the channel is Prelude to Divorce. So please check that out. I really enjoy doing that with my wife. I don't want to quit that, so I would like to keep doing that. But all other let's plays are basically done. And that's because of you guys. You guys have spoken. You want more streams. We're gonna do more streams. Like that's what we're gonna do. Um, and I think we're gonna go back to Streets of Retro, but as a stream and do some fucking Golden Axe, which I'm really excited about. We both have purchased the game. Very excited to play Golden Axe with somebody else. That's another one from my childhood that was a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to play that with you. So we'll probably do that at some point soon. And of course, the Halo Firefight will come back with Kayla.
Yeah.
Love doing those streams. We need to get through the rest of Halo Infinite Road. I tell you, it's the worst part, everybody. I had to leave the stream because my kid was sick. It was a really bad night. She was really like it was just bad. Like she was in pain all night, and then the next day she ended up vomiting. And you know what the worst part about it, Neil, was? I'm just holding my kid and she's puking, and I'm just thinking to myself, I still have to play more fucking Halo. That's not the worst part. I'd rather my kid be well, but it's a funny joke. In any case, I do have a couple of things I want to talk about too. One of the big ones is I want to see what you guys think about this. I have an idea for a show, but I would need a lot of people to show interest in this. So I'm just putting it out there. The idea would be a horrible arena for the people. I would host it. We would have our people pitch game ideas each week. And everybody would get like a 3-minute opening pitch, and then you get like a rebuttal is what I was thinking. And we would need a lot of people to be interested in this, of course, but we would record it through webcams, and it would be a weekly thing, and we'd just pitch off kind of sort of thing, and slowly eliminate till we have a champion. I'd love to hear if you guys think that would be a good idea, if you'd be interested, who would want to be in it, who would want to judge for it, stuff like that. Just if you're interested, put it in the comments if you think it's a good idea. We need a lot of interest in that to do that, because we need at least a few people to be interested in that if we were going to do it. As far as plugs go, yes, we will be finishing, fingers crossed, Halo Infinite Road this Wednesday on stream, like promised. Maybe we'll play a couple multiplayer games afterwards, because I think we only have half that level to do, the last level. And they don't do credits, so we can't make fun of those. And then, of course, my amateur hour, still doing that, still doing the lunch stream, doing a few streams on Twitch now with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I'm still enjoying quite a bit. So check those out. Of course, my Prelude to Divorce, which I've already talked about. Please watch that. I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, Star Trek Axiom, that's fun. Yeah, that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, you can contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. And as long as you keep watching, you keep listening, we'll keep making them. We will see you guys next time.
Tuesday, I'm going to be doing something very interesting.
What's that?
I'm going to be doing a dad bod boudoir shoot.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So this started as a complete. This whole thing started as like a joke.
Okay.
So the guy that did the pictures for our wedding, Kayla went to high school with, and she I guess still has him on Facebook and everything. But there was a girl who was apprenticing with him on our wedding day. She now has, she's got her own photography thing going on. And she put a thing up on Facebook about wanting people with dad bods to do a photo shoot for a calendar that she is going to sell for for charity, for like a horse rehabilitation center or something like that. So this is like 3 weeks ago at this point, and Kayla saw it. She was like, "Hey, would you ever do?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Ha, ha. She's like, "Would you really?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. If I get roped into it, I'll fucking do it." She messaged the girl, and the girl messaged me, and we have time set up now. Tuesday evening, I'm actually foregoing our normal like D&D tabletop session, and I'm gonna go be in a dad bod boudoir shoot for for a calendar.
Neil, I have never been so excited about anything I have heard in my entire life. This is 100% going to be an opening or an ending, and it's not even funny. This is just amazing. I'm so excited. You're going to do a modeling gig, is what you're telling me right now.
Yeah, basically.
So where can I get the pictures?
I don't know yet. I know nothing other than
Texting your wife real quick. I'm just going to tell her I need also to know where to get the dad bod pics of Neil as soon as they are available. I've never been so excited. Fuck games. I just want this to happen now. This is going to be all over our Discord. I want you to know this.
I didn't think that this was going to be a thing that was going to happen at all, because like,
is it like nude, or is it just going to be
no,
like
you're
going to have your shirt off?
Yeah, no, it's
holding
a
beer.
Off.
Shirt off.
I'll have my shirt off. Yeah.
Oh, you're ballsy, man.
Yeah,
you're ballsy. I don't even wear my shirt off at the fucking beach anymore. I don't even wear my shirt off around the house with my wife, who has seen me nude. No, because I'm afraid that she'll see it and go, "Oh, what happened to you?" Oh, yeah, I'm rethinking some stuff.